Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. Today, man, we've got a fantastic episode. Wow. Benlina, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
I am so excited. We have been planning this podcast, this interview for quite some time, so I'm so glad that you are here. So
yes, I am
I'm so excited too because you are a funeral home director, correct?
Yes. And owner,
which is more
Yes.
important. What does that mean?
Well, that means that I'm a licensed mortician
Yes.
in the state of New Jersey.
Yes.
So I provide funeral services for family, direct funerals, assist them in funerals, and do the clinical part, such as embalming and all of that. And I happen to own my own funeral home, which is actually 1 year this month.
Wow, congratulations. So
Thank you.
Before we dive deeper into that, let's talk about our connection. How did we meet?
Well, we met, I don't even know how many years, when my eldest daughter, who is now a junior in college,
All right.
was part of your program, MOB.
Yeah.
And I think we came across it when she was in middle school, actually.
Wow. So yeah, 'cause
Yes.
that was the Minding Our Business program. And I'm going to say that was probably about 12 years ago.
2000, yeah, I think it was, 2012, 2013. But she was in middle school. She was actually in the sixth or seventh grade when
What?
she participated in that program. Yes.
Okay, we're starting to date ourselves now. But I just want folks to know the connection because, man, Minding Our Business has some fantastic tentacles out here. And
Yes.
It's almost like once you become a part of the Minding Our Business program, or the mob, as the young folks used to call it, we don't let you go. So I am so glad.
No.
I'm so glad that you are still with us. So how did this journey begin for you to want to own your own funeral home?
Wow. It has always been my dream. I
Yes.
mean, I've always been this young, business-minded person
Yes.
from growing up,
Okay.
doing little things. So going to school, earning my mortuary degree from Mercer County,
Yes.
graduated back in 2007.
Yes.
And I worked with one of the firms out here in Trenton for years. The only one I actually worked with. And
Okay.
I always had in mind to have my own, because it's a difference. You can provide services as you want to.
Yes.
There's a lot more you could do as an owner than when you just employee.
Yeah.
For families. For families.
Let me stop you for a second. So while you were attending Mercer County Community College in Mortuary Sciences, how did you go about doing your intern?
Well, my internship was done at the Anderson.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you have to secure an internship in order to graduate.
Now
Matter of fact, you have to have a 2-year internship.
And you secured that on your own?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so the school does not provide that for you?
No,
Wow, okay.
Absolutely not. And that's the hardest thing about the program. And I pray as my business grow that I'm able to, provide that for students. I mean, the fear, especially in our community, is that providing internship is actually, helping somebody learn the business that will one day become your competitor. But I mean, it is what it is. You're always going to have competition. So if someone knows how to do it and people love you, they'll come to you. They'll still come to you.
Absolutely. Well, I can see that an intern could perhaps become your competition, but at the same time, I think that they're also seeing you as a mentor, right?
Yeah.
And they're also seeing you as I guess a place in a person of support, right? So I guess within your industry, you don't necessarily see a lot of competition. It's not like you're going to wake up one morning and see this funeral home that goes up next door, because I guess the city, the size of Trenton, we can only support but so many, right? So at some point, they're going to say, you know what? Thank you for the internship. Thank you for the experience. But I'm going to go to the greener, larger pastures, right?
Yeah, and I mean there are other places. There's enough business. Regardless.
And I think with you, do you specialize in serving a particular demographic?
Well, right now I serve anyone, any family that needs servicing.
Yes.
But I focus mainly on our African community.
Yes.
Just to educate them of the funeral industry and the importance of certain things and pre-need and having information and sharing information so that it relieves the loved ones that have to arrange your services or, plan this after you're gone. And that's really lacking in our community. I mean, they look at it as a taboo.
Okay.
Talking to someone before, even during an illness, or if you know that they aged and there's going to be, they're going to be passing someday. But just even young people, because death doesn't discriminate. So
that's true.
But just educating the community and letting them know the importance of certain things.
Okay. Now, when you say the African community, you don't necessarily mean the African American community. You mean the African community.
African community, Liberians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leoneans, Nigerians, Africans within, the diaspora of the funeral industry. And of course, I love my African American brothers and sisters, and I service them too. But we tend to lack more of the education of funeral service industry, even being an educated consumer in that sense.
Yes.
Knowing the questions to ask and not just settling for whatever a funeral home or funeral director puts your way. Ask questions, what charges are there and why these charges are. There are some things that you can select that don't have to be forced on you. So just educating them of the industry.
Yeah, because I know that a few times I've bumped into you, and you were doing a couple of funerals. And,
yes.
And I noticed that they were of the Liberian nature, the Liberian community.
Liberian community.
So you seem to have a rap on the Liberian community in terms of funeral services.
I'm building my clientele.
Yes,
the competition is out here, but I'm building my clientele. I was raised in this community.
Yes.
And so I've know most of the elders and young ones that we all grew up together. And friends, of parents in the community. So I'm looking to serve my community and give back, particularly.
Awesome.
So not just to take away, but to give back. So I'm asking them to trust me and try me, and get to know me and to get to know them too.
Absolutely. So you finish your 2-year internship. Where do you go from there? Do they kick you out of the door or what?
No.
Okay.
After you finish your 2-year internship, through the process, you also go into school.
Yes.
So once you complete your schooling, you have to sit for the state boards, the national boards, and also do a practical where a state representative from the mortuary board come and observe you embalm. And there are certain steps they're looking for in order to qualify you as a licensed funeral director. So once you go through all of that and get licensed, the way you do your internship have the option to hire you or not hire you.
Okay.
In this case, I had the privilege to be hired.
Yes.
So I was hired, and I worked with Anderson for years up to 2020, actually.
Wow. Now let me stop you. When you say your practicum, wait. So there's a body. There's someone who's deceased.
Yeah.
And they come in and they watch you perform that whole process?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know. Not only do you have to study for a written exam, you have to do a practical. So imagine.
I couldn't even imagine. But now let me ask this question. This is like kind of spooky, right? So when you're not doing the practicum, right? But you're embalming a body. You're usually by yourself. Do you have an assistant that's assisting you, or you're doing the body? You're doing this by yourself.
You're pretty much by yourself.
That didn't scare you?
No.
What?
You exposed to it in school.
Yes.
When we at Mercer, we dealing with we're not dealing with dummies and stuff. We're dealing with actual human beings.
Cadavers.
So
wow.
Yeah, cadavers. So if you have an issue, that would be corrected in school. If it's not for you, then they're where you determine that.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just had to ask that question, right? So now the other question is, so where does the cosmetology part come in? Do you train for that too? Do you have to know how to dress the body too?
Those things you learn during your internship. That's the whole purpose of your internship.
Yes.
Because that's not, other than the theory of how to apply your cosmetics and, create different ones for the different tunes.
Yes.
You really learn those techniques through your internship.
Wow. I've always been curious about that. Okay. So you're employed by Anderson for a few years, and then when does the bell go off that says I am ready to launch my own firm?
Let me tell you, as anyone who has had your business, you got this ball in your stomach the whole time.
Okay.
And, it's always in the back of your mind.
Yes.
What can I do different? What can I do better? I want to do my own.
Yes.
And when it's for you, you never, it's never something you're comfortable with because you know where you should be and what you should be doing.
Okay.
And it's something that I dismissed. I dismissed it for a long time.
Okay.
I came across a journal actually from 2018 or so, and I was just going through my old journal, and I saw where I wrote down my goals, and that was one of it. So one day, own my own business, and it didn't happen till, But I think it was during the pandemic. We all had so much time to just stay home and reflect on our lives and see what we really want for ourselves and the importance of family and just having your own time. And prior to, after graduating from school, I didn't go right into work. Believe it or not, I started a daycare in my home because I wanted to stay home with my children.
Okay.
So for 10 years, I was a home provider.
Yes.
For the state of New Jersey, a daycare home provider. And it wasn't until 2018, 2017, I dissolved that. and went back to Anderson. So I was always on and off, but I kept my license active.
Yes.
So I had that experience of owning your own business and managing your own time. So then I always wanted to just continue in that path. And so when the opportunity came at 2020, God just put the right people and just set steps. And when I took it and I prayed to him, I said, if this is for me, let it happen. And things just fell in place. I applied to the State Board of Mortuary, submitted my application,
Yes.
secure me a location. That's
Yes.
the more important thing. And I got approved, and it went through all of the requirements, and I was, given a license to have my own business, and here I am.
Well, first of all, and again, congratulations. Now I want to back up for a second. So you're saying to me, and you're saying to the listening audience, that once you pick a location, do they come out and do they inspect the location?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the
Okay.
state of New Jersey, I'm working out of an existing funeral home.
Yes.
So you're allowed to rent.
Okay.
They were allowed about 3 establishments, 3 businesses from one establishment. So I'm one of 2 that's there already.
Got you.
Yeah.
Understood.
So it's an existing funeral home that really lowered my overhead. I didn't have to come up with, brick and mortar of my own, which
Yes.
is my next goal
Okay.
sometime in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you have a location, they will come out and inspect. And it makes it easier when you already have a business existing there, because that business also being inspected. So everything is already there for you.
Got you. Now, I got to ask the $1 million question. You've got the idea of starting this funeral home business service. When do you start working on the business plan?
Oh,
Because
it's coming. It's coming together as I go along.
Oh, okay.
You never have everything, at one time.
Okay.
So I'm learning a whole lot for the business side of it.
Okay.
Now, mind you, the funeral director side of it is where I got all the training.
Yes.
As far as the business side of it, I'm learning.
Got you. Okay.
I'm learning. And I have an awesome accounting that's, educating me of the different things and rules and regs. So that part I'm learning every day.
Okay. Now my my next question is, what would be and how would you say would be some of your competitive advantages? So if there's 2 funeral homes, how would you say that you would be better, how you would be different?
Well, it's all about how people see you and your relationship with people.
Okay.
So I'm not threatened of, I don't even refer to other businesses as my competitors, because, people are drawn to what they want.
Okay.
So we have a whole lot of CVS and Walgreens, and we all know who we want to go to, why we go there. So I just focus on what I can provide for a family.
Got you.
Because once you provide a family a dignified service and one that's memorable, it's word of mouth.
Okay.
It's word of mouth. So until you can try Kemah Funeral Services and know of all that we provide,
yes,
you'll know what set us apart from everybody else that's out there.
Okay. Now, while you're in Mercer County, are they also teaching you about grief and how to console?
We refer people, because I'm not licensed.
Okay.
I'm not a, licensed grief therapist, although I see, grief all the time, but
Yes.
that don't license me or excuse me from feeling grief.
Yes.
So we do refer people to the licensed therapists out there. We encourage people to get grief therapy, group therapy, some at churches. I'm always getting information from different ministers and churches that offer such things to families, and I refer them.
Okay. So I guess my next question is coming off of that one is, how do you approach a family when they've lost a loved one? I mean, are you sympathetic? I Help me out with that.
Well, I mean, the whole your place there is to guide this family.
Got you. Okay.
So with your expertise and your experience, your job is to guide this family through this process because it cannot be. It's not going to be repeated.
Yes.
This is the one time that they're gonna funeralize their loved one.
Yes.
So for what you know and how to go about it, your job is to guide them and do everything there is, answer their questions, inform them of different resources that's out there. So that's really your job.
Okay. Now, how do you decompress after a long day of work? Because that's important too. We have to understand. I want to understand your mental stability and how do you decompress after you've been consoling and being with a family who's lost a loved one? How do you relax? How do you decompress? How do you separate the business?
That's very important,
yes.
Especially in this industry when you have to deal with other people's grief.
Yes.
Constantly,
okay.
And learning not to take it in or absorb it as much as it's around you.
Yes.
So I believe in self-care. I don't, slack on my self-care, whether it's just talking with other people or other colleagues and sharing with them.
Okay.
Or having a therapist of my own.
Okay.
And also, taking a little time off for myself when I'm not busy and family's not calling me.
Yes.
I do a lot of, time with my family or spending time by myself and doing other activities. I love gardening.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for this spring rain to stop so I can go out there and do my gardening and my flowering. That's very therapeutic for me.
Awesome.
Working in the yard and around my house. So, those little things count.
Now, did you have a mentor going through this whole process?
Yes, I did. And I still do.
Okay.
I do.
And how important was the mentoring, or how important is the mentoring for you?
It's important because it's nothing, you don't know everything.
Yes.
It's impossible for you to know everything. So you always have people out there that have your best interest, that will guide you through the industry questions that you have and things you may come across. You might think you've seen it all, but trust me, you have not.
Wow.
So I do have a great mentor out there that I can reach out to and speak to. And then other colleagues, we, bounce ideas and share information.
Awesome.
And, support each other.
Awesome. Now, are you or is the business 24 hours a day?
Well, it is 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So if the phone ring, of course, I'll pick it up and service a family any time of the day, any day of the week.
Okay. Wow. So that means that it's never a typical 9 to 5. It could be whatever.
No.
Well, okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's not a 5-day a week, 9 to 5. You could be in the middle of vacation.
Yes.
And your phone ring, and work starts from there.
Wow. Now, so okay, let's suppose it's a Thursday, right? And you get a phone call. You have to deal with that situation, however it may be. So that means, let's suppose someone dies overseas. Do you start to handle the arrangement from that point to bring the body back to the States, or how does that work in a situation like that?
Well, if the person died overseas, most likely the country where the death occurred, there's a funeral home that's involved already.
Okay.
So now you're working with the family as to the arrangements the affairs that will take place here in the States.
Okay.
And then at some point, you're going to get in touch, or the funeral home, the forwarding funeral home will get in touch with you.
Yes.
And then once all of that information is shared, then when the shipping happens, when the body is sent over, then where your job begins with taking care of that deceased. So I have not dealt with receiving, which was what I would refer to it as.
Yes.
Receiving, but I've worked with forwarding. So I had a service a few weeks ago where I had to ship the body back to Liberia. So
Wow.
there's a whole process involved with
Wow.
the consulate office or the embassy, where they
Yes.
have required documents that have to be obtained and all of that. And then once the shipment happens, you send all of that information to the receiving funeral home in that country, because they'll need that in order to take possession of that body once it gets to the airport.
Okay, so that means you have to even take the body to the airport.
Oh, yes, yes,
Wow.
yes.
Wow. And so
In this case, it was JFK. So the process is totally, it's a lot involved.
yeah. Now, are you responsible for the payment of the shipping of the body?
You get that from the family. All of that is included in your bill.
Got you. Okay, but you have to
Yeah, so
you have to calculate all of that though.
yeah, so you
Okay.
have to get in touch with the airline,
Yes.
and do all of that, get the shipping cost,
Yes.
and inform the family what that cost is, and you include all of that in the bill. So you're pretty much the middle person when it comes to that, because the airline is not working with the family. All of the industry works with the funeral home.
Okay.
So you gathering all the fees and getting all the funding, and
Okay.
then dispersing it to the different ones, like, the airline, the cemetery, all the
Yes.
different people. Yeah.
Wow. So there's a lot involved in your job, right?
It is. It
Wow.
is.
Okay. Now, so you've got the business plan coming together. At what point do you sit down with your accountant and you say, okay, how does my funding shape up? How do you go about funding a funeral home?
Well, in this case, since I'm working out of a funeral home,
Yes.
I mean, I'm not coming up with other expenses that people who own that brick and mortar
Yes.
is coming up with, because my work right now, my focus is to build my clientele.
Okay.
So once this is the first year,
Yes.
actually, so we're going into our second year. So as I continue to build my clientele, then there will be other things that, we'll be sitting and discovering. Hopefully there are things out there for small businesses that I could take advantage of. So he'll advise me, and,
Yes. Now,
other fundings that are out there.
since you've been in the industry as an owner, are there
Mhm.
many female operated and owned funeral homes or funeral services?
There are a few.
Okay.
There are a few in New Jersey. I mean, it has been a male dominated industry for a long time. And believe it or not, even with having a lot of females that owning that funeral homes,
Yes.
you still have to fight a lot of things out there, because sometimes people don't think that you're able to do it. Like if I go on a removal, a lot of times they ask me, "Oh, you by yourself, or is it you?" Yeah, it's me, and I'm by myself. So, a
So
lot of times they just.
what does removal mean?
Removal meaning when the family reached out to you
Yes.
and informed you of the death of their loved one, whether
Yes.
the death occurred at home or at the hospital,
Yes.
and they gave you the authorization to go and remove that body. That's what we refer to as removal.
But so you mean you have to go and physically pick up the body?
Yeah,
And
from the hospital.
And you do that by yourself?
I think mostly at hospitals, but at a home, if the death occur at home, no, I tend to go with someone, because you never know,
Okay.
what situation you're dealing with.
Got you. But
in the hospital, it's more control.
But what I'm saying physically, I mean, you have to pick up the body with your hands yourself, and like put it on your gurney or your traveling cart or your. That's what I was meaning.
Well, yeah, at the hospital they have a morgue there.
Yes.
And so once you go to do their removal is where the transfer from, that gurney to your gurney, and
Okay.
then you get it into your vehicle.
And so why do you think that the industry is still male dominated?
Because that's how it's been. It was, funeral directors were men.
Okay.
And it was never looked at it as a female job, but like everything else, females has been
Okay.
coming into different careers and proving that we can do this just as good as anybody else.
Okay. Now, do you belong to like an association?
Yes, we have New Jersey, and I always forget the acronym, NSFDA. But
Okay.
yes, New Jersey has a Funeral Director Association
Okay.
that I belong to, and then the Black Funeral Directors Association, which is Garden State,
Okay.
that I have to actually submit my membership. And also join that one. So we do have a national funeral director
Okay.
organization, and they have the Black Funeral Directors organization also.
Wow, this is I mean, obvious, this is serious. So you're breaking into a male dominated industry. What are some of the things that you think people are thinking about when they meet you, that you're not going to last long, that you can't do this, or you shouldn't be doing this? I mean, what are some of the biases?
I mean, I won't say that will come from the industry, because there have been females that are doing awesome.
Okay.
So I don't even think that people in the industry would think that. Maybe so people in your community, because in my community, I happen to be, my funeral home actually the first African owned in the state of New Jersey. I don't know of another.
Wait, stop.
And so
You are the first female African
African owned.
Oh, that's awesome. That's, man,
Yeah.
congrats. That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank
man,
you.
pump your chest a little bit. That's all, man, that's all right. Now we've got a real reason to celebrate you. Wow, okay. So now, so your image now is other women can look up to you, and you can serve now as mentor to other women who want to get into the industry.
Yeah, and other
Wow.
young girls, and
Yes.
just let them know you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to do.
Yes.
Especially coming into a new country and having to learn everything all over in a different way of life than you used to.
Yes.
That is possible.
Okay. Now, when did you come to the States?
I came at the age of 16.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say the year.
That's okay. That's okay. You know, that's a woman's secret.
Yes. I came at the age of 16.
Yes.
So I completed 3 years of my high school
Yes.
in the States, and that was challenging.
Okay.
Getting bullied for my accent and
Okay.
everything. So yeah. So after high school, took what they call gap year now, I guess, for a year or two,
Yes.
and then started up at Mercer
Okay.
and joined the mortuary program.
Wow, fantastic. And so throughout this whole process, you were just single-mindedly focused on completing this task and having this funeral home.
Yes.
What has been some of the biggest challenges for you?
I think the biggest challenge is really yourself.
Okay.
Fear,
Okay.
and you having to be, I always say I'm my number one booster
Yes.
and motivator,
Okay.
because what you tell yourself, what you can and cannot do is what's important.
Wow.
And so I'm always having conversations with myself, tell you the truth,
Okay.
and telling myself what I can do,
Okay.
and writing those things down. It's so important to journal things when you
Yes.
have ideas, your dreams, your goals,
Yes.
because we get so distracted and sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
So I'll find myself waking up and just writing down things that come to my mind, because then later on I can read over it and reflect on it. So it's important for you to have those conversations with yourself and motivate yourself.
Oh, fantastic.
And sometimes the things you tell yourself would be the most positive things you would ever hear, because, people, you define who you are.
Absolutely.
And it's not for people to understand. It's not for people to, you don't look for validation outside of yourself. So those things have been very important to me. And I have 3 daughters, and I tell them all the time, I said, what you become is who you are is what you're going to become. What you tell yourself is what's important.
Yes.
What you put into your head. I don't even watch the news.
Okay.
Because it's just important for me to keep a positive state.
Yes.
And my mental status and all of that. So the challenge really has been, can you do this?
Okay.
Why can you do this? And just pushing and trying to prove what I can do to myself.
Got you. So you set the bar for what you want to achieve, and you don't allow anyone else to do that but you.
No, I don't know. I never have been that person that allow other people to. If I do something or if I'm involved in something, it's because I want to do it.
Okay.
So I was never that kid that had issue with peer pressure.
Okay.
Because if there's anybody peer pressuring me, it would be me.
Got you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I guess part two to that question. And so, what advice would you give to people who want to achieve more? What advice would you give them?
It's go for it.
Okay.
And don't allow fear to stop you, because fear is the one thing that is not evident but is there.
Yes.
And sometimes people just don't even try something and say, I don't think I can do it.
Got you.
But just do it. Set your mind to it.
Yes.
If that's your goal, if that's your dream, write those things down. And I've always wanted to, I always say this, what is life if you don't get to try something that you want to do, even if you fail at it?
Yes.
But what is life? What's your purpose here? And if you're not living your purpose-driven life, then what is it?
Yes.
Yes. Keep in mind that I funeralize people every day, and I wonder, did these people achieve their goals?
Wow.
Or did they just go to a 9-to-5 job that they didn't like? Not that I have issue with 9-to-5, trust me, not everybody is going to own their own business.
Yes.
But even if it's a 9-to-5, let it be one that you enjoy.
Yes.
Let it be something that you like.
Yes.
And so I enjoy what I do in the sense that it's something that I like doing.
Got you.
It's my passion. So I'm not grumbling at it. I don't even look at it as work.
Yes.
Because I enjoy what I do. I work with families.
Yes.
I help them funeralize their loved ones. And, it's more like a customer service, and I serve them.
Yes.
So I enjoy service.
Now, how do your daughters see you? Do they see you like you're a strong woman who can accomplish anything?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, how do your daughters see you as a strong woman who can accomplish anything? Mommy's good at everything.
I try to tell them to not compare themselves.
Okay.
I am who I am.
Okay.
You just find it great in you and be you.
Fantastic.
So I'm not forcing them to do what I do, because I'm doing something that I've always wanted to do.
Yes.
From a young age. So this is not, mommy did this, this is what you do. No, you have to search within yourself.
Yes.
And find what you enjoy and what you're great at, and go on from there.
Okay. So now, the same question, but within the business, what have been some of the challenges within the business that you had to overcome?
I think the challenges is just getting out there.
Okay.
Getting out there, letting people know that I'm here.
Okay.
And, that I'm here to serve you.
Yes.
So my goal is to really start visiting the churches and getting to meet the pastors, getting to meet the people in the community.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times people say, oh, we don't even know. We don't know where I didn't know of your business. And, at that time it's too late.
Yeah.
So I've set I've set my goal for myself in April.
Okay.
Is for me to, every week is to at least visit with 2 or 3 ministers.
Yes.
And get to meet them, and so that I could be introduced to that congregation.
Yes.
Find community affairs. So if there's any community affairs going on, you have my number, let me know.
Yes.
And believe it or not, that's something that has been my phobia.
Okay.
Is,
just going out to
meeting
meet people.
people and
Gotcha.
just putting myself out there, because we normally would quickly advertise for other people better than we'll advertise for ourselves.
Yes.
So I said to myself, I said, you have to do this. And I just have to do what I can do and allow God to do the rest, because, I can't sit at home and say people are just going to find me. I have to get my business cards, my flyers out there.
Yes.
So it's really, the challenge is doing the footwork, and this is where I am right now. So that's my goal.
Your business and the marketing of your business is kind of like low key. You can't do anything that's like over the top.
Well, you can't solicitate.
Okay.
That's against state law. So you have to really just meet people.
Yes.
Give them your information and hope that they call you when they need service.
But
so
if
you hear,
people would perceive you as being tacky if you would do a big billboard, right?
I can't afford that.
Okay, but I mean,
I could.
But I'm saying
I could if I could afford it.
Okay,
but
that wouldn't be perceived as tacky, because it's like the funeral home business is almost like low key.
No, I don't think it would be.
No?
There are other places where I've seen billboards and stuff. If you can afford it,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
people do radio announcements and stuff, and put that information in. It's just that you still try to go about things the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
Because that's just the generation you're dealing with right now.
Yes.
And so I do have a Facebook page.
Yes.
But then I have to go about things where people that don't have social media, that generation, I have to find a way to meet them.
Got you.
And they're not going on Facebook.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know how I would feel seeing a funeral home service, a billboard. I don't know.
Billboard is a form of advertising that's been around for a long time. Other businesses do it.
Yeah, but but again, as we were talking about earlier, it's not one of those things you keep at the forefront of your mind. And I just find it, for me, I just thought that it needs to be like low key and very professional and very reserved.
Well, I would I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So I would rather meet people and interact with people versus just put a billboard. Hey, here I am. Call this number.
Yeah. So you hand out a lot of business cards.
Yeah, I have my flyers. I just got some calendars printed.
Yes. That you would leave at churches and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I can deal with that one, but I don't know if I'm driving down the road.
I've seen billboards now. You go down south, you gonna find some billboards.
Wow.
And up north, you're gonna find some billboards. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So now, as the industry is growing for women, do you think that women can change how services are being provided, or like maybe make the services better?
Well, on an individual level, you always want your service to set apart.
Okay.
So I don't think that women can change the industry as it is, but how do you want your business to be different from the next person's business, even if it's another woman?
Okay. Man, this has been fantastic. I was so excited to interview you because, man, I just had so many questions, and I think you've answered all of my questions. So I'm gonna give you the platform. Is there anything else that you want us to know about your service?
Well, I service people from all, from all, not just Africans.
Yes.
I service all families.
Yes.
We do cremation. We provide cremation. We provide traditional services.
Yes.
Now, a lot of things that are becoming popular, people doing personalized services, where they're not necessarily religious, non-religious services.
Yes.
So the funeral home is the Kemah Funeral Service.
Yes.
Our phone number is 609-672-9924. So it's a personalized service, and we look forward to, making memorable service for your loved ones. So we offer shipping. We print programs. So sometimes even if the service is coming from another funeral home and
Yes.
they're looking for a keepsake program, we do program printing. You don't necessarily have to be using my funeral services in order for me to print your program. So we
Oh, wow.
provide pre-need, at need,
Yes.
direct cremation, immediate burial, traditional burial, shipping of remains to whatever country, whether it's domestic or international.
Okay.
So, and my goal is always to provide exceptional and memorable service to our families.
Excellent.
So,
Now, I just got to ask a weird question.
mhm.
When you say personalized, right? I was on Facebook the other day,
Mhm.
and there was a rapper who had passed away, I think, and he had his funeral at the nightclub.
Yeah.
What? But
Funerals not always in churches now.
wow.
Some people are not religious, and they'll
Yes.
tell you, "I don't want Christian," or "My loved one didn't go to church." They were.
Yes.
I had a service a few weeks ago, and the deceased loved music, James Brown,
Yes.
and at the entire service we played James Brown album.
Okay. Oh, okay. I can see that, but I mean, to have the body
At a nightclub.
at a nightclub, and as if I'm trying to recall the article, I don't think the body was even in the casket. I think it was just like sitting up at a table.
Oh yeah, was it Louisiana? They
I,
have those states where they do that now. I mean, I haven't done nothing like that before.
I want to say it was either one of those states or even Washington D.C. where the guy was a rapper, well known.
Mhm.
This was his hangout, and they had his funeral at this nightclub that he would oftentimes perform, and so there was no casket. He was sitting at the table.
Mhm.
Oh man, what?
The industry is changing. We have to cater to our families.
Understood.
Somebody's gonna do it.
Understood.
We have to cater to what the family wants.
Yeah.
As long as it's not against the law.
Yeah.
Listen.
Wow. Because remember back in the day, there was Jet Magazine, and there was this photo of this guy. He wanted to be buried in his car, as if he was still driving it. And I thought that was weird. I'd love to see the price tag on that one. So wow, you could do something like that too?
Well, if I ever get the request to do it, trust me, I'm gonna make sure I get it done.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Make sure I get it done. Things are evolving. Remember, way back then, funerals used to take place in the home.
Yes.
And even in the history of embalming, it used to be in the home. Everything was in the home. People bury in their yards and stuff. So a lot have changed and still going to change.
Wow.
So we have to adjust to all the changes.
Wow. Benlina, you have been fantastic. You have opened up my mind. I have a better understanding. But one more time, the name of your service.
Kemah Funeral Service.
Yes. And your phone number again?
609-672-9924 or 609-516-5456.
Yes. And we also want to let them know that you are the first African-owned funeral service in the state of New Jersey. Yes.
Yes.
And man, listen, is there anything else you want to share? I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I know it was hard to coordinate our schedule.
Listen, now that I've heard about your skills, I don't mind. This was my pleasure. This was my pleasure.
But thanks for being available, because this would be the most uninterrupted time I could get in my day.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're both entrepreneurs, so we make it do what it do.
Yes, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to coming on the show anytime.
Well, listen, you have my number. You know how to reach me. So if there's something else that you want to share, don't hesitate, right? You reach out to me. We'll be glad to have you on this platform because I know as you grow, you're going to gain more insight, more knowledge, and we certainly want to give you that opportunity to share along this platform.
Yes.
All right.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Lena, you have been fantastic. Let's talk and text later on.
Yes, we'll do.
Have a great night.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.